Wagwan, how are you doing? A little hoarse voice, man. Just woke up. Kwamka Chronicles, eh? How you doing, man? You know, it's July. Today is a Saturday, so I'm chilling in. Saturday is normally that day when I sit in. I do radio in the afternoon, though. So, yeah, here we are. So, beautiful Sato. A bit chilly outside. It's July, like I was saying. Sahi tuko ile mwezi weather for two. Man, that thing is so overrated, yani. When you hear people saying about weather for two, it's July, it's cold season, it's that time of the year when you need someone. I find those things to be so overrated. I used to think it was cool before, but then after life happens, unaanza kurealize sometimes you're better off alone. You're better off going through any season, any weather, just by yourself. Because, I mean, being with someone, there's someone I was watching another clip, and this guy was saying, I think it's somewhere in the Bible, it says, about the strength of the ox or something. That when you actually have an ox, you also have to deal with the ox shit, Man, so that's what comes with it. Yes, as much as it gives you it gives you easy load or takes off load from you, you also have to deal with, the ox shit. Wacha tu niachane na story za ox, wacha nilete tu home, bring this home. Most of you love pets, sindio? Most of you love pets, you have pets in your house or in your home. As much as you love them, you also have to take care of them, sindio? You have to feed them, you have to clean after them, you have to, vaccinate them, take them to the vet. So as much as you love the pet, you also have to deal with what comes with having the pet, sindio? That's why mimi husema, washana naye, but that's my opinion. Anybody can do whatever you want to do. I mean, life, you're not living my life, you're living your life. So you can do whatever it is you want to do. If having someone in your life is what makes your life worth living, then just have at it. Let's have at it. If that's what makes your life worth living, if that's what makes your days count, mimi ni nani wa kukuambia don't do it. All right, so for me, this is just my own diary. So welcome to Mike's Diary. A place where I just come in and rant and talk about all the things that are in my mind. Yeah, so I may say something that may inaweza kuwa iko wewe you don't feel like that. You should not have a problem with it. That's your opinion and this is my opinion. And I'm not telling you to change your opinion. I'm just me being me. So this is my space, my safe space where I can just come in and rant. And I've been doing videos on everything, relationships, maandamano, the country, politics. And all this is just my opinion. So don't think that I'm not here to change the situation of the nation. I'm just here to express myself. So if me expressing myself inakuwasha, then wewe uko na sida. Na sida yako sio sida yangu. Take care of your sida. All right? Yeah, so I've been thinking a lot about the future, what the future holds. And as you grow up in your younger years, in my younger years rather, I had this conditioning that this is how life is supposed to be. You're supposed to go to school. Okay, you're supposed to be born. Once you're born, then you grow up, then you start going to school and you get an education, and then after you get an education you go look for a job. Then once you go look for a job, you work that job until you retire. While you're working that job, you get someone to marry, you have kids. You have kids, and they grow up and they go through the same cycle that you have been going through, or you have gone through. And then, of course, as life has it, you've retired, you die, and then they continue with the same cycle where they go to school, they get a job, they get married or marry, they have kids, and they go through the entire cycle. Now, as you go through life, of course, there are other things that come into the picture, like there's church. Every Sunday, you have these habits. These are habits. I call them habits. So every Sunday, you know you're going to wake up on Sunday, you're going to dress up, and you're going to go to church, and you're going to sit there and listen to the pastor preach and tell you some very encouraging things or scary things. And then you're going to come home and continue with your life cycle. Ni habits. Those are habits. And so I've been thinking about it like, when you break out of these habits, when you break out of these traditions, or you break out of this conditioning, where, yes, you've gone to school, but somewhere along the way you realized, I do not want to be here. So you quit school and you get into business. You're not employed. You're employed. So you get into business and you begin to do something differently from the family line. And you, of course, because you're by yourself, kuna mtu wako hapo na wewe wa kukuokoa, you have to go through this moment by yourself. And you go through it, you go through the whole business building process, and you build a very beautiful business. And then, because of the conditioning, you go like me, you get married, and then somewhere in there it falls off and you realize, I don't want this thing again, because you start to evaluate and start to look at it from a critical point of view, or a business point of view, where you begin to see, this is not benefiting my life, it's taking away from my life, so I don't want it anymore. Then you go into church, the habits, then you realize, I do not want to sit here anymore, I'd rather be out there doing something else or sleeping. So you break out of that too, and you just become your own person, and you begin to just live life in your own terms. Now, many people, when you begin to live like that, watu wengi watakuja kwako wakwambie, they'll begin to shame you, they'll begin to look for things to shame you, they'll begin to throw things at you to cause you to fear, because most of these institutions, most of this conditioning that we have is basically just based off of fear, in that you're afraid to fail in life. So that means you have to go through the conditioning of, go to school, get a job, get yourself something called security. So you get this security, not really because you want, but because you're afraid to fail. So once you break out of the conditioning, you completely break out of this whole security aspect. So you begin to live your life in your own terms. And to many people who are living in the security thingy, they start to look at you like you've lost it. They start to look at you like there's something wrong with you. So what's the first thing they do? The first thing they do is they begin to shame you for being your own person, for standing out by yourself, by your own 2 feet, and figuring it out what you want for yourself. Break out of church, what's the first thing they tell you? Oh, you will fail in life because you have denied God. And they start putting this fear in you. But remember, you're your own man. You've already done all the evaluations and realized, Appa, this is based off of fear. I don't want to be a part of that. I want to be able to live my life from a point of just living. Just live life. Take in the deep breath. Take in, breathe in the oxygen. Give out the carbon dioxide and go through life the way life is, bila mambo mingi, bila kujiingiza kwa hizi stories zote za huku na huku. And so when you go through these moments, when you become your own person, they begin to shame you. They begin to tell you, oh, you're hurting, oh, you're in fear, oh, uko na deni. One of the things nimekuwa nikisikia sana of late ni ati bado haujalipa deni. And mi hujiuliza, hii deni ninafaa kulipa. Okay, deni kwa Ukikuyu ni umezaliwa na wazazi wako and then unafaa kuwazaa. So kama haujawazaa ama you've not brought forth children in your parents' name, uko na deni yao. That's now the Kikuyu customs or whatever it is they do. Ama Kikuyu by the way. So unajikuta uko kwa ile point yenye kila mtu anakwambia, oh, wewe haujalipa deni, oh, ile siku sijui utakufa, tutaingiza moshakwe kwa matako. And you begin to ask, bro, why? Mimi sina deni ya mtu. Mimi nilizaliwa and I came out here not to follow the patterns. I came out here as my own person. I have my very own DNA, way of doing things that I came out alive, clean, fresh page to start a clean slate for my life. Hasa deni inaingilia wapi? I don't owe nobody nothing. I don't owe my parents kids. Bro, I don't owe them. Hao walifanya part yao wakanileta kwa hii world. It's up to me to decide what I want to do with my life. I don't have to follow with the conditioning. But sasa, to many people, hey, you are a failure. Oh, you're not married. You should have kids. You should be doing what? You should be doing this certain career. You should be following in your father's footsteps. Oh, you should be going to church and following, the ways of your mother. When do I get to live my life? When do I get to be an individual? When do I get to make the decisions for me that are best for me, based on where my life is, based on what I want my life to be? When do I get to be my own man? When do I get to stand and say, this works for me, this don't work for me, so I'm going to do what works for me? You get? Saizi tunaishi era yenye this whole Gen Z eruption has proved that you can just stand out. You do not have to be afraid of anything. Kaa mbaya. And I'm sure most of the parents wa wale watoi walienda kwa streets, at one point they called them and told them, do not even dare. Nisisikie umeenda huko kwa hizo streets. Not because going to the streets is wrong, but because they are in fear. Because that fear has been instilled by them from the conditioning. Umecheki? Kuna ile conditioning hours hai wako nayo. Wanajua mtu anaenda kwa streets, atapigwa risasi, atashikwa, ataabductiwa, atateswa, atafanyiwa hizo vitu zote. But then their kid goes out to the streets and says, this is not the country we want. And the country, the leadership actually begins to listen to them. They're like, shit, these guys are right. I was listening to the president's space, jana, and for the very first time, you could tell who's the leader of this country. It started off like a speech. It started off like those press conferences, zile za fellow Kenyans. But Jana, I would listen to guys telling the president, hey, listen, I was abducted at 3 a.m. in the morning. I was taken to an unknown location. I was beaten. I went through this just to be able to tell you this. And for the first time, I had the president listening. Get me? Because for the first time, that conditioning has been broken. And that thing scares the old people so much. Now, being a millennial who decided I will never go through the conditionings, I understand exactly what is going on. I know I've come out here and criticized this whole thing. I've come out here and kasema, hey, kuna shida. Why? Because I'm able to see through these things. I'm able to look at it and see, hawa wamenyamaza. Na hii kitu itatuumiza. Oh, hawa ni ng'ombe. I came out here and I talked about the church, right? And I said, hey, these guys, they are quiet when we need them to speak. They sat back and watched a new generation, leaderless, coming out to the streets and facing the system right in the face and telling the system, fuck you. We do not want this shit. And for the first time, the system listened. And these guys remained ashamed. Now they have no idea what to do. I've been watching, now churches are coming up with this whole Gen Z thingy. No. Hiyo, si mulikuwa mmenyamaza wakati tulitokea. Pelekeni hiyo na huko. Go do that with the others. Tafuta wale watoi wa Sunday school. Go do that with them. You have lost this generation. Because when we needed you to speak, when you had direct access, muli nyamaza. Sasa don't come trying to woo us back at your Gen Z thingy. No, that's not going to happen. Because we now can read through your bullshit and we can look you straight in the eye. I posted something on my Instagram about this guy who was talking about pastors going to the state house to eat. And walienda hapo wakapakuliwa mchele. Why were they in state house in the first place? And so when I posted this thing on my Instagram, the first person who came in to comment, alisema, oh, nonsense. You should not speak like that about the men of God. Wewe nyamazisha. Just, if that is your conditioning, go and continue living it. Be miserable huko peke yako. Because we are now living in an age of accountability. Repeat after me. Age of what? Accountability. You have to be accountable for your actions. If you do bullshit, we're gonna meet you right there and call it out like it is. Whether you like it or you don't. I said it in another video here, the truth hurts, but the truth also heals. So you better learn to accept the truth. As hurt as you are, take it in your ass, motherfucker, and deal with it. And let it heal you and bring you out. Sababu saizi we can read through it. I broke out of the conditioning kitambo. When I was a teenager, I decided, that's not my system of living. I cut it off. Went into business, went into my own life. Today, many years later, I look at my life and I'm proud of what I've become. You know why? Because 1, I do not owe anyone nothing. 2, it's peaceful. It's quiet. I can choose my path. I can build something for myself without anybody coming into the picture and saying, you know. Yeah, nobody can say that. So, if most of you are wondering, kwani tuko season gani? Which age is this? This is called the age of accountability. You better be ready to be called out. I have had people call me out on my bullshit. As much as it hurt, it also healed me because I took it in. And now, I stand out and I speak my voice, whether you want to hear it or not. Yes, that's the reality. We have seen church fuck up with our parents. I was there. I grew up in church, bro. I served there. I was in the worship team. And then my life went down because my first business crashed. And then the church abandoned me, god damn it. You know what? I learned. I took it in like a shot of tequila. Hot. Bila chesa Buddha. Nikameza and I understood. We are family. Fuck you. We are not family. Yeah, we are not. So I decided I'm going to build my life. Fresh start. Start from the bottom. Chini. Pick myself up and get to a place where now I can speak out and say, you know what? This ain't shit. There's nothing like we are family. We are family ni wakati wewe unataka kuokotwa. Anytime I hear somebody telling me, you know, we are family, najua, we, unataka kujiokota hapa. You are coming in for what I already have. Well, eat that shit. Yeah, because it's nothing like family, bro. You either have it or you don't. Those people who call you family only call you family when they see value in you that they can extract. When you go to a church and you say, we are a family church, wameona ile gari umeingia nayo, wanajua hapa tumepata mabati gapi, iko lori gapi za mawe, tumepata tiles, tumekuwa tukitaka tiles. When you decide you don't want to get married, they come at you and say, oh, you need to heal. I've seen that comment a lot. By the way, I posted on the previous video when I did the video on 4th of July thingy. I posted the same thing on my Facebook and all the other channels, and I saw somebody commenting there and said, oh, you need to heal and move on. Well, motherfucker, I have healed and I have moved on by myself because I don't want bullshit. I don't want to deal with the bullshit. As much as the ox comes with strength, I also have to deal with the bullshit. I do not have time for that nonsense. Let me deal with my own shit. I can deal with mine. I can smell mine. I'm not taking somebody else's bullshit here just in the name of you need to heal and you need to uko na deni unafaa kulipa. We enda ukalipe deni peke yako. So just like the Gen Z are saying, the only thing they're afraid of is marriage. Yeah, they should not actually be afraid. They should actually stand out and say, you know what? The only thing we don't want is marriage. Forget fear. Forget fear. Because fear will make you do stupid things. Just decide, hey, I don't want it. Period. I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with it. Period. Not don't want it because of fear. Not at I don't want it because niko na deni nafaa kulipa. Not because I don't want it because at one day I'll get old and I'll need someone to take care of me. Let's debunk that for a moment. I'll get old and I need someone to take care of me. How? I have seen my grandmother and my grandfather before they passed. They were old. You know who was taking care of them? They were not taking care of each other. In fact, my grandfather was living far away from my grandmother. He was not taking care of her. And I remember when he got sick, because aligonjeka kwanza, and he was in hospital for a long time, she was not taking care of him. So unakuja hapa kuniambia, oh, you need someone to take care of you in your old age. And agoma. Never ever. That will never happen. I don't want it. Period. Now, can I have someone to spend a weekend with? Absolutely. You're much welcome. You are much welcome. Yeah. Spend the weekend here, then go your own way. And I'm not saying this out of bitterness. I'm just telling you, we can substitute this whole lifetime with someone thing with just what we have, the normal life. Niko na ngerems, nahitaji kudinya mse. I can pay for that shit, get my nut out, go back to work. I don't need to live with someone just because niko na ngerems. Most of you married people are so single. It's amazing. Most of you married men and married women are single as fuck. You don't even talk to each other na mnaishi nyumba moja. You just there because of the kids. Yet you're going to come at me and tell me, oh, kuna deni unafaa kulipa. Silipi venye wewe unalipa. Hiyo maneno ya kutoka kwa nyumba na giza, unarudi na giza ndio ulipe deni. Lipa yako. Mimi yangu sina. I don't have nobody's debt, motherfucker. It's called conditioning, goddammit. And I am not going to be... there's a verse in the Bible. I think it's Romans 8 chapter 1. Do not be conformed to the standards of this world. Do not be conformed. Okay? I have chosen never to be conformed to the standards of this world. Pastors, mmesikia hiyo neno? Amen? I will not be conformed to the standards of this world. Never ever. I have chosen to be my own man, to stand by my own self, to live my life the way I want to live it, to do the things I want to do, not to follow after my father's footsteps. Yeye alikuja akaishi maisha yake akamaliza No more conditioning. No more conditioning. And that is the era we are living in. That is exactly what Gen Z are trying to tell you. That they are not going to be conditioned no more. They are not going to walk in fear no more. Whatever they want, they are going to fight for it. Even die for it. They have chosen their path. I know most of you have no idea what this is, what this means. Unawaogopea. You are literally afraid for them. But they are living 100 times better than you are, and you will ever live. I gotta go. That's my thought for the weekend. Yani nimekaibu imagine na ni weekend. Nimekaa tu kwa how if just woke up like this. Man, isn't it a good time to be alive? Let's just be honest. Isn't it a good time to be alive right now? Welcome to the 21st century. To the 2024 year of accountability, god damn it. And because of accountability, I gotta go. I got a movie to watch here. Yeah, and enjoy my weekend. Enjoy yours, or be miserable in yours, whatever you want to do. I'm out.